Time now, though, for our first guest, Hollyoaks actress Jorgie Porter, who has a very important story to tell us.
Last summer, Jorgie was surprised to discover she and boyfriend Ollie Piotrowski were expecting quadruplets, a 1,000,000-to-1 pregnancy. But at around 14 weeks of pregnancy, the couple were faced with heartbreak after learning Jorgie had suffered a miscarriage. She now hopes to raise awareness of miscarriage by sharing their story.
And Jorgie and her now fiance, Ollie, join us now. Thank you so much. Oh, look, we're just so sorry to hear about everything that you've been through, and sadly it's going to resonate with so many people out there. And such a mixture of emotion, because suddenly you discover you're pregnant, and you're not just pregnant with one, but 4 babies. What was that episode like?
Stressful.
Yeah. Well, obviously we were excited that we got pregnant because that's what we wanted. And we went for like an early scan, because we've got twins in our family, haven't we? And so we
on
just...
both sides?
Yeah, on both sides. Okay. So we went for an early scan, and the doctor was sort of a bit unsure what to say and what to tell us, because she said, we can see 3 sacs. So for us, we had no idea what that meant, whether that's a normal thing, whether what is going on. So they said, we're going to rush you into a hospital appointment. And with that one, we were told that there was actually 4 sacs. Also, we were still none wiser because we still didn't know what that meant. And as she said the word quadruplets...
I think I fell over.
Yeah. There was a bit of swearing, a bit like I said, my body is too small. Like, I can't imagine that happening. And I think you literally thought further and was like, well, we wouldn't even be able to drive a car.
For everyone in the car.
For everything.
Oh, I love that. So male and
How are we getting out of the hospital with all the cars?
carrier.
Yeah. So obviously we were just shocked, and throughout the pregnancy it was kind of not really enjoyable for me and for you also.
No,
my hormones were just...
You were experiencing really quite intense senses, I guess, as you would expect, I suppose, with 4.
Well, because obviously when you are pregnant, you want to tell some people. You don't really tell many people, do you? It's just something we don't do. And I'm not sure why sometimes, because I don't really like to keep a secret. Like, I like to tell people everything that's going on in my life. So when that was the situation, it was a bit harder because having the hormones times 4, it was just so hard, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was stressful, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And presumably then all the physical stuff is really sped up, with the bigger boobs, the swelling, the going to the loo, all of that.
You're so right, because as well, at work, obviously, I was in work with costumes. Yeah. And I think within, like, 3 or 4 weeks, my body started to change pretty drastically. And
you're so petite anyway, it would show, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so, like, my boobs were like...
Boobs were massive.
He remembers that. Yeah. And my belly was starting to, like, protrude. So, obviously, then before we found out it was quadruplets, I was a bit like, this is insane, like, what women go through pregnancy-wise. And then when the doctor said it's quadruplets, that made more sense. And at work, I had to kind of start telling people, because one costume fit in a couple of weeks, then it was like, woof.
Yeah.
And obviously, without trying to say it was an extreme circumstance, it was like,
But of course, Jorgie, you would have been classed as high risk, which meant that you were having lots of routine scans.
Yeah.
And sadly, during one of those routine scans, the unthinkable was revealed.
Yeah, so we were going regularly because we were being looked after. And on the final, I think it was the 6th scan.
It was the 5th or the 6th,
5th or the 6th. She then said, you've got a miscarriage, you've missed, they've gone. Which for me was quite shocking, because I thought it was going to be 4. I was ready for, girl gang.
And did you not have any signs that you'd miscarried?
No, so that was another thing. It was a miscarriage.
Right.
So my body was still being pregnant and still sort of doing the symptoms of pregnancy. And it then did carry on for a while. And then, which gets really heartbreaking time, is the time of how they're going to go sort of thing. Because the hospital had said this is a 1 in 700,000 not many people get quadruplets. So their options were, how do we get rid of this sort of thing. So we went with the route of surgery so that I could be knocked out, because I didn't really want to see or witness things.
Yeah.
Such a personal decision. Yeah.
And also that was another tricky situation, because obviously they'd not done that as a regular operation, so they didn't really know what the outcome could have been. So they gave us warnings, didn't they, of this could be, might not go really well, there could be a lot of blood loss. So it was great that I had Ollie with me the whole
And were
time
you being
supporting
asked
me.
all these questions on the day that you'd also found out that you'd lost them? It's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was the same day, yeah.
And how was that for you? Because I think often as a society, men can feel a little left out of these, you know.
Yeah, I felt really helpless. It was quite sad, and I was scared. Obviously, you were in pain. And it's like I didn't sort of acknowledge, it was kind of just thrown on us that it was a miscarriage.
Yeah.
Every week we were going for scans, and then all of a sudden, the next time it was a miscarriage, and then we had to have the discussion of the operation. And it was a really, as a man, it was really helpless. Really helpless and
You
scary.
feel like you want to do something and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Do you think you've supported each other as a couple? Because sometimes, you know, you are both going through it together in different ways, but it can be difficult as a subject together, and you can end up avoiding it. Have you helped each other cope in different ways?
Yeah, I think definitely we do talk a lot. If he notices if I'm being a bit sad or something, or I notice he's being a bit different, we'll say, are you okay? Are you thinking about that? Or we are really good, the fact that we communicate a lot, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we went in phases, so as soon as it happened, I cried and found it really hard, and you were really tough and strong. And then a few days later, you sort of had a real meltdown. And then I had to be strong. So it kind of went in phases.
Because we've always been sort of single people and dealt with our sadnesses alone, coming together was a new way of sort of opening up our sadness together and supporting each other, and also just the trust that we're going to be together no matter what.
Bringing you closer.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, it'll resonate with so many, Jorgie and Ollie, only because 1 of 4 pregnancies end in miscarriage. And unfortunately, it's not until you go through it that you realise a lot of these statistics and realise the people that you actually maybe have in your life already that have been affected, because a lot of people don't talk about it. And that's the very reason why you've chosen to do that. And so we do appreciate it, because it's been a tough old time for you, but you're engaged. Lots of happy things on the horizon, which is lovely. And like we say, it's great to have you here as well, Ollie.
Really admire you.
Good job you had your haircut, innit?
Yeah.
He didn't know it was coming on.
He scrubs up. You can't come into this studio without being on the telly, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Ollie. Look, if you've been affected by anything that we've just discussed, there's lots of help and support on our ITV website.